I do now want to get your take on DHS Secretary Mayorkas. He was on Fox News just a few days ago, and he did admit that the numbers that we're seeing of migrants coming across the border are historic. Some Republicans have called for his impeachment. Do you echo those calls?
Well, Secretary Mayorkas has absolutely ignored the lawful process of immigration that currently exists in our United States Code. So we have at the Homeland Security Committee been keeping a very close eye on Secretary Mayorkas and the Department of Homeland Security as it relates to immigration, and have had a number of hearings already where we heard from local law enforcement. We heard from people who are involved in the human trafficking awareness, combating human trafficking. We've heard from people who lost family members to fentanyl poisoning. I have very grave concerns about Secretary Mayorkas and his performance in this role. And of course, I also represent Florida. And in Florida, we have grand juries and a federal judge who've specifically reviewed what's been going on under the policies of the Biden administration and Secretary Mayorkas' decision, and have concluded that those policies violate our laws. And yet he continues. So, I absolutely believe that Secretary Mayorkas has acted in a way that is intentional, that he understands that what he's doing is not appropriate, and that he continues to do so in defiance of court orders. And for me, as a former prosecutor and a former judge, that is simply unacceptable for anybody who raises their right hand and takes an oath of office here in the United States.
So, do those concerns amount to you supporting that his impeachment, supporting Mayorkas' impeachment?
So what we'll be doing in the Homeland Security Committee over the next few weeks is concluding our hearings, having additional hearings where we hear from witnesses and we take a look at the things that he's been doing, and really finalize our process of careful consideration of whether the behavior of Secretary Mayorkas rises to the level of impeachable. And what's important to remember there is that impeachment is not about political differences. It's not about disagreeing about, how something should look, or having a policy disagreement about something. It's really about, is somebody who has taken an oath of office, who's somebody who's taken on a position of such incredible responsibility in our country, are they discharging those duties in a way that is consistent with that oath? Are they following the laws of this country? Are they really, doing things that are hurting America? And in the case of Secretary Mayorkas, the greatest concern is not only what has been occurring, but that it was done for 3.5 years, that it was done intentionally, that even after courts, grand juries, Congress have reviewed, raised concerns, pointed out the failures and the things that are inappropriate about these policies, that they've carried on, that they've continued with these policies. That really, every single day that Secretary Mayorkas is in office, America is less safe, and we know that. We've seen that now time and again. So it's a great concern to me that he continues to serve in that capacity.
Before I let you go, a word that I just wrote down that caught my attention that you've used a few times is intentional, or intentionally, when it comes to Mayorkas. Are you saying he's intentionally letting migrants through the border?
I believe he very intentionally is implementing policies that result in these millions of people coming across our border unlawfully. So Secretary Mayorkas is well aware that the asylum process isn't working, that this return for a parole hearing, alternatives to detention, that the policies that they are implementing aren't working. They are very well aware that people are coming into this country, that they can't be located. We don't know where they are. These court dates are years out in advance. So very much, this is very much a knowing and intentional process. And I'll tell you one more thing that's very concerning is the unaccompanied minors who are coming across our border. They have lost track of over 80,000 unaccompanied minors, children who've come into this country, and now we're unable to confirm their location. So there is so much that is wrong about allowing this magnitude of unchecked, unlawful migration into the United States. And so absolutely, it's impossible to be working, whether as a Border Patrol agent or all the way up to Secretary Mayorkas, and not see and not realize the scope and scale and seriousness of this failure. And that is, I'll tell you one more thing, is I really would love to see my Democrat colleagues in Congress go down, spend time on the border, and see what we saw. It is impossible to witness the things that we saw and hear from the witnesses that we saw and continue to deny that there's a crisis. And so, I would really just encourage anyone who has questions or isn't sure about just how serious this is to go down and see for yourself. That's one of the reasons that Republicans have continued to go down, because we believe it is vital to see it firsthand and to share with the American people firsthand exactly what's going on down there, how it's affecting our country, and what needs to be done to stop it.